He's back. The boomer's back, and I think we're in trouble. Hey la, the boomer's back. A very, very happy new year to the whole Blatherverse, and especially the three people who are watching live right now. Good to know that I've not been forgotten by the hardcore of the Blatherverse. A couple of things happened. I've been on since December 18th, and wow. Just wow. So I was traveling in the Midwest, and as anybody who knows me knows, my definition of the Midwest is anything from San Bernardino to Columbus Avenue. It was cold. Oh my God, it was cold. We were supposed to go out New Year's Eve, and it was 9 degrees, and we decided to stay home and just have a quiet and warm evening. And I was fine with that. And we decided to watch a movie, but I'm interrupted because I see that hardcore OG Blatherverse member Kameshwari Kate is here, and she's got her name back. When I was last here on December 18th, they'd taken Kameshwari Kate's name away. She's back to being Kameshwari Kate, and she says going back to court for an appeal to stop the logging of Stanley Park. We are working tonight to self-represent. I have one earbud in listening to the Boomer, and I am flattered and honored by that. Stanley Park, for those of you who don't know, is basically the Central Park or the Griffith Park of Vancouver. And there was tree damage, and there's a big conflict between the loggers and the environmentalists. Kameshwari Kate and her husband are very, very dedicated to the preservation and integrity of Stanley Park. And 1 week, if we're all lucky, we'll have them both on. So hopefully you heard that with your one earbud, Kameshwari Kate. We go to the Supreme Court of British Columbia tomorrow for an appeals judge. Wow, you have a lot to prepare for. So while I'm flattered that you're listening with one, albeit with one earbud, you have some important work to prepare for. So I will understand if you tune out Kameshwari Kate. So I was in the Midwest in Ohio, and it was 9 degrees. I live in Southern California. Need I say more? And I know I grew up in Brooklyn, and it was cold. I went to college in Albany. It was colder, but I'm not used to this. So we stayed home, and we watched Dr. Zhivago. Now, if you haven't seen Dr. Zhivago, I got to tell you, if you're a movie buff, if you're a movie buff, Dr. Zhivago should be on your compulsory list. It should be up there with The Godfather, Citizen Kane. I mean, you name it. The Big Lebowski. No, Dr. Zhivago is a great classic movie. Julie Christie's Blue Eyes. I could see where there could be wars fought about that, but it's basically a kind of a love story, but it's all set against the backdrop of the Bolshevik Revolution at the end of World War I. So there's a lot of politics involved. Anyway, I'm going to get back to Dr. Zhivago because I'm not sure what to cover first. We have oh God, what happened while I was gone? We had the fraud in Somalia. Apparently, we had a killing in Minneapolis last night, an ICE agent versus a woman driving a vehicle. Megyn Kelly told her most loyal supporters to go F themselves. There's a revolution happening in Iran. New York City has a new mayor and a new housing advocate. We're definitely going to get to that. The president of Venezuela is sitting in jail in Brooklyn. All this happened while I was away. I was following this stuff on Twitter, and I was kind of jonesing. I really wanted to do a live stream, but it's really hard when I'm on the road. But I really want to do one, especially my son, who disagrees with me about almost everything I say politically. This is how classy my kid is. He bought me this for Christmas. So that's the good news. Because apparently it's apparently apparent that I'm using my computer microphone, and this is a nice professional microphone that I do plan to use. But being the boomer that I am, I have no idea how to make it work with this bracket. And can you see the bracket? No, you can't even see the bracket. Don't worry, there's brackets there, but the brackets for the old microphone doesn't work, and it doesn't work with the new microphone, and blah 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 blah. So we had that. But most of all of that pales in comparison to the happenings in Hawkins, Indiana. Yes, after 5 seasons and about 9 years in the making, maybe 10, we finally saw the end, the final conclusion of Stranger Things. So there's a lot to unpack, and I'm not going to get to everything. I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try. As far as Stranger Things goes, I don't want to do a spoiler. I definitely don't want to do a spoiler. Other than I'll say this, the finale sucked, but the good news is it didn't suck any worse than the rest of season 5, which totally sucked. I'm sorry. It just was. Season 1 of Stranger Things was some of the best television ever. And it started going downhill. Season 2, season 3 was really bad. Season 4 kind of came back a little bit, but not enough. Not enough that I was excited about season 5 coming out. But after investing all that time in seasons 1 through 4, I had to watch season 5. So I did. I did like how they didn't release it all at once. But man, that finale. I'm not going to use my own words. Here's what one commentator said. He said he called the Stranger Things finale an overwritten, overcooked, self-indulgent circle jerk of a virtue signal. And that's pretty much what it was. Okay, so that's Hawkins, Indiana, out of the way. Let me share a clip. I'm a native New Yorker. And yes, I do think everything west of Columbus Avenue is part of the Midwest, but that's a rather separate conversation. This is a key important person in the cabinet of Zorhan Morani. I don't even know the guy's name. Anyway, let's play this.
I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
Are you fucking kidding me? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Collective equity? You got to be kidding me. And the mayor in his inauguration speech said something like that. We're getting away from rugged individualism to the warmth of collect. You know what? He calls himself a Democrat socialist. It's just a polite word for communist. Socialist is to communist what agnostic is to atheist. Because to me, an agnostic is just an atheist with a condom, or an atheist who doesn't want to say atheist because maybe that's a little too real. Same with communists. Communists, Russia, China, blah blah blah. So socialist is kind of the polite term, but they may not be twins, but they're certainly very close cousins to each other. So collectivism. Oh my God. So anyway, like I say, I saw Dr. Zhivago this weekend, and on New Year's Eve, rather. This particular scene is scary and needs to be taken seriously.
Yuri, this is Comrade Yelkin, our local delegate. He lives here.
Oh, how do you do? Welcome.
Comrade Caprugina?
Welcome.
It is not for you to welcome us, comrade.
Comrade Caprugina is the chairman of the Residence Committee.
Yes, of course.
Your discharge papers.
Oh, yes.
So just for a little context in this, the main character, Omar Sharif, Dr. Zhivago, has just been sucked into the war. He's actually a doctor who takes his profession seriously. He stumbled upon the end of World War I, and then that molded into or morphed into the Bolshevik Revolution. And he's been out there treating people who are wounded and sick and doing his job. And he finally comes back to the house he grew up in to find that it's been occupied by the party. Except it ain't a party. This ain't no weenie roast.
I signed them myself, I'm afraid.
Holy Cross. What?
Holy Cross Hospital, it's on.
The Second Reformed Hospital.
Oh, good. It needed reforming.
Medicals report to their place of work at once.
Yes, I believe there's typhus.
You've been listening to rumor mongers, comrade. There is no typhus in our city.
Well, that's good news. I'll report tomorrow.
When you've started work, you'll get a ration book.
I've always worked. Whatever's the matter?
You are.
There was living space for 13 families in this one house.
Yes. Yes, this is a better arrangement, comrades. More
just insane. And that woman, Capringa, or some clone of hers, is now the housing advocate in New York City under the Mamdani administration. Oh, I am so sorry, New York City. But you know what? I'm sorry you guys did this to yourselves with a lot of help from Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo needs to hide it. He needs to never, ever, ever show his face in New York City again. This is completely on him and the Democrat Party. All respect to Curtis Sliwa. He was never going to win. They're not going to elect a Republican in New York City. So Democrats need to come up with a sane candidate. And somehow some genius thought that Andrew Cuomo fit that bill. And then after he failed to beat Mamdani in the primary, some other genius, or perhaps the same genius, decided it was a good idea for him to go as an independent and thereby kill any small chance that Curtis Sliwa could have been the mayor. And this is what we have now. This is what we have now. And whether they can get their stuff passed or not, this is what they want. And by the way, welcome to Thursday nights. This will be the normal night. I'm not sure I could do this every single week, but I will do this most Thursday nights until football season, and then Thursday night football will shift me back to Tuesday nights. I don't want to have split attention. I want to give this the Blatherverse. You lovely people in the Blatherverse deserve my undivided attention, whichever night of the week it happens to be. So we have a lot else going on. God, there was a killing in Minneapolis last night. Now, a lot depends on. I guess everything depends on whether the ICE officer who shot the woman dead. Here's what happened. There's tons of footage, and the thing of it is, I don't want to show the footage because every camera angle tells a different story. So let's let the investigation go on. But the undisputed facts are, a woman was trying to block traffic. When she was told to exit her vehicle, instead of exiting her vehicle, she abruptly threw the car into reverse and then abruptly threw the car into forward, jerked the car forward, and either hit an ICE officer or almost hit an ICE officer, depending on what camera angle you're looking at. I think if you watch Brendan Tatum's channel, he has it on his, where it does show the officer not being hit hard, but definitely being struck by the vehicle. So only he knows the truth. Did he feel he was in some kind of mortal danger when he used his weapon and fatally shot the driver of the car? I'll say this. When a cop tells you to stop, you stop, and if you don't stop, this could happen. I'm not saying it deserved to happen. I'm not saying it should have happened, but it did happen, and it wouldn't have happened if she. It wouldn't have happened if she would have just exited the vehicle like she was told to do. Commissary Kate says HA's coverage of the vehicle hitting the officer. So there's that. And I don't doubt it. I mean, I did see that one angle from Brandon Tatum, which does clearly show that there was some contact with the vehicle and the officer. So, you know, this goes far beyond the whole concept of the legitimacy of ICE. I mean, I have my own opinion on ICE. I'm just trying to keep it real here, you know? I'm just trying to keep it real here. You ever notice how people from New York like to use the word here, except not here, here. There's no in here. So just try to keep it real here. Just try to keep it real here. And I am just trying to keep it real here. Here, like, do I mean here, like at my dining room table, and I'm not going to keep it real in the Midwest? I'm not going to keep it real at Disneyland. I'm not going to keep it real in Las Vegas or Arizona or name a million other places. I'm keep it real here. Does that here mean here? Or like when Ratso Rizzo in Midnight Cowboy, played brilliant by Dustin Hoffman, and he's crossing the street, one of those busy New York one-way avenues, and a cab almost hits him, and he smacks the hood of the cab. He goes, "Hey, I'm walking here." Now, I would say that's probably geographically specific, because here meant here. I'm walking here. But if I'm keeping it real here, I don't want to get geographically exclusionary on my keeping it, the realness of which I keep. I don't know. You know what? Next topic. I just painted myself into a blathering corner. So then I get back home. You know, I'm on the road 11 days between Missouri and Ohio, and I catch a flight at 6:40 in the morning Eastern time. Get up now is a heat wave. It's not 9 degrees anymore, which it was New Year's Eve. Now it's the day after New Year's Day. It's January 2nd, and it's 14 degrees. So 14 degrees, 4:30 in the morning. Roads are mostly plowed. I got to catch a plane. I go straight to work. It was a long day. I finally get to sleep. I wake up in the morning and I turn on YouTube. And what's the first thing I see? Well, let me show you the first thing I saw, because I happen to have it here. Here we go. So I'm not going to play this clip. I'm just going to show you this clip. Are you seeing it? Let me make it full screen. So I wake up to see on 2CTV, who, by the way, I'm still trying to figure out how much I like this guy or not, but he seems to usually get it right. And then I wake up in the morning and I see this headline: breaking, U.S. invades Venezuela, Maduro captured. I'm like, get this clickbait shit off my screen. Are you kidding me? Give me a break. U.S. invades Venezuela, Maduro captured, communists fall. No. That didn't happen. There's only one problem with me saying it didn't happen. It actually did happen. So, yeah, they went in there. You know, there was the whole Israeli raid on Entebbe, which was amazing, brilliant. Trump says, "Hold my beer." And he goes in and he went full Noriega on Maduro. The jury's out. You know, I'm hearing a lot of credible arguments in both directions. I don't know. Trump did say that this is going to benefit the people of Venezuela, and I am willing to give that a chance of actually being the truth. So my jury's out. I'm only going to say one thing about Maduro being arrested and brought to Brooklyn to face drug charges, and that is this. Mr. Maduro is very, very lucky that he wasn't brought to New York City on drug charges when Rockefeller was governor. And in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I'm going to say about that. So next topic, what else we got? Oh, yeah. There's a little thing happening in Iran. So, because look what's happening out in the streets of Iran. That's just one of several images. The Iranian anti-regime protesters have stormed the governor's headquarters in Gorgan in northern Iran. Of this this flag right here of the rising lion and the Magen David. Cain Gonzalez, I'm glad I lived to see this day. The Persians deserve freedom. Prayers to the good Iranian people. They just want a new and peaceful life without tyranny. So we have all that, and then I got a bookmark. Oh, this is great. This is a woman who takes off a hijab on night. This is from Neo Berg. She's a Jewish Persian woman. She's been posting a lot. And she says, I'm trying so hard not to be overwhelmed with emotion. I can hardly believe my eyes. That's today. That's in Iran today. And even if you get past the Zionist part of this, even if you get past how Iran has been sponsoring anti-Israeli terrorism for decades, 47 years of this, let's just for a moment forget about the whole Israel versus the world situation and talk about women. Women are forced to wear hijabs. They're forced to wear hijabs. They can't show their faces. They can't show their hair. I don't know if they're allowed to drive. I don't know if they're allowed to attend universities. I don't know. But clearly, women do not have many rights under Sharia law. So even if you are not sympathetic to Israel, I would hope you're at least sympathetic to women. Let me find another clip that I wanted to share. So here's some very, very, very brave women. Let me give them full screen. And here's what they did. And I gotta address my fellow Tulsi supporters on this one. Is Iran an exception to the rule? Tulsi herself, as outspoken as she's been about no regime change wars, is equally outspoken about the threat of Islamism and jihadism to free society. So these are conflicting principles. Do we support a regime change in Iran? Do we want is the son of the Shah the person to come in? I mean, it seems like they could rally behind him, and he may, if he actually enters the country with a secure escort, that could be the end of the regime, the end of the Ayatollahs. Who knows? Who knows what's next? But they're killing protesters in the streets. It's really, really ugly. It's extremely horribly undercovered. But it leaves me with this question for J Marcus 82, for Ellen from the BQE Expressway. Sometimes she's from Brooklyn, sometimes she's from Queens. I'm not sure if she's watching right now. But was it a good week? I come back from the Midwest, and this Mandami is the mayor of New York, talking about getting rid of individualism in favor of equity and collectivism, read between those lines. It's in pretty bold print. So New York City is in big trouble, and the regime in Iran is very possibly on the verge of toppling. And they say the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. That's what they said in Syria after Assad, and the jury's out on Syria. But as far as Iran goes, the devil we know is pretty damn diabolical, pretty damn evil. I'll take my chances on whatever comes next. It can't, I don't want to say it can't be worse. It can't be worse. Stephen King proved that in his book, The Stand. We had this virus that wiped out 99% of the people on the planet. And then it got worse. It's like, it can't be worse than this. Oh yeah, it gets worse. So I guess it can always get worse, but I say there's a 1,000th of 1% chance of it getting worse and a 99 point whatever percent of it getting better. I think that the fall of the Ayatollahs in Iran will bring a level of peace to the Middle East. This is just my opinion. I'm not stating this as fact. This is my opinion, that I think that the fall of this regime will bring a level of peace and prosperity to the Middle East, the likes of which I certainly haven't seen in my lifetime, and I'm pretty old, so I wonder if any from the generation before the boomers can remember actual peace, prosperity, and stability in the Middle East. And no sane people are looking for Jewish domination or anything like that. We just want a fair shake. We just want to live in peace. Israel, for all the talk about being a Jewish state, is probably the most secular country in the Middle East. People are free to do what they please with religion. Yes, it's 80% Hebrews living there, but that doesn't mean that the Muslims and the Christians and the Druze and whoever else is living there can't practice their own cultures, don't live in free society. They do, so why can't, I don't get it. Why can't they just leave Israel alone? So Megyn Kelly joined the dark side, unfortunately. And I'm not sure what she said, but I'm going to pause. I want to see what Ellen from the BQE has to say regarding Iran. There needs to be some structure in place before switching out that government for hopefully son of Shah. They have severe economic issues, severe drought. What percent of the population is behind the overthrow? And that's a great question. If you go by what's in the streets, it seems to me, it just seems to me that an overwhelming majority of Iranians, of Persians, are for this revolution, are definitely right. Then again, just like New York City, this is what they wanted, this is what they got. And this is what they wanted back in 1979. They sure got it. But again, I'm outspoken for the right of Israel to live in peace. But even if you don't agree with that, if you care about women, if you care about the rights of women, look what is happening under Sharia law. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. There is Sharia law in Iran. So if for no other reason, I gotta believe. So Ellen asks what percent of the population is behind the overthrow. Well, let's think about the women. And it's a question, it's not an answer. What percentage of women are sick of being oppressed, sick of being uneducated, sick of wearing hijabs? I don't know if they can even allowed to drive cars. It's horrible what's going on there. So let's free the women. Let's free the women. And Ellen from the BQE. Regarding New York City, she wants her free MTA rides and free World Cup tickets because our virtue signaling. I am never going to say the word mayor and that man's last name in consecutive words. Ever, not just the next, ever. But that guy that's occupying Gracie Mansion now, he's been talking about free MTA tickets, which is going to be a disaster. And now he's talking about free World Cup tickets because because people are complaining that it's $600 a pop to go to the World Cup. Now, part of me agrees with that. I would not pay $600 to watch a bunch of grown men running around in their underwear for what is it? 90 minutes? 90 minutes, and nobody scores. Nobody scores. They run around their underwear, but apparently the man with the warmth of collectivism, thank you, Ellen, is thinking that he wants to liberate some soccer tickets for the people who voted him in. Well, good luck with that. But the question I put so it's easy for me to say, I'm sitting here in Southern California, and I look back on what the world was when I left on December 18th and what it is now. Forget about Venezuela, forget about Minneapolis, definitely forget about the grand finale of Stranger Things. It was garbage. And here's the question, focusing only on New York City and Iran. I come back from my travels in the Midwest, and this scutch, whatever word you want to use for this guy, has taken power, talks about the warmth of collectivism being better than rugged individualism. What the hell is he even talking about? Well, we know what he's talking about. We do, because that was another. By the way, again, I watched Dr. Zhivago on New Year's Eve, which was a great way to spend New Year's Eve. By the way, I really enjoyed New Year's Eve. It was, Steph and I sat in the living room. We watched all 3 hours and 17 minutes of Dr. Zhivago. The other thing that came up in that movie was basically that the party wanted to. I'm not sure what words they used, but they wanted to ban individualism. His poetry got banned. Here's the question. You got what's happening in New York, and you got what's happening in Iran. Sitting away from New York as I do, but being a native New Yorker, I bleed Brooklyn blood. And I go back there every so often, for the pizza, get a little Nathan's, get a little Junior's cheesecake, get down to Mott Street, get some Chinese food. New York's all about the food for me. I truly do love New York, and I'm horrified by what's happening there. What's happening in Iran might be the greatest event. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but this might be the best thing that's happened to the world since the Japanese and Germans surrendered in 1945. I think it really might be that big. I think that this entire Middle East powder keg will diffuse to a huge extent. And yeah, you're still going to have the renegade extremists, but without the backing of the Iranian regime, they're going to be relatively insignificant. So the question I have, I know I keep alluding to this question that I haven't asked yet. Would you make this trade? Would you accept what's happening in New York City if it means that the Iranian regime will collapse? And I know there's no cause and effect between the two. So let me rephrase that. If you wake up in the morning and this guy, this Papa is in charge of New York City, and simultaneously you find out that the Ayatollahs are gone, Sharia law has been abolished, and Iran is on a path to some kind of ideological democrat republic, some kind of thing where the people's opinions actually matter. Was it a good week? Was it a good week if New York City falls and the Iranian regime also falls? I gotta say, I think so. But with respect for BQE Ellen and Jersey JM, who are living with it, although Jersey JM's got the Hudson River to shield them from it, but Brooklyn Queens Expressway Ellen, she's right in the heart of it. So, answer now, don't answer now. It's the question. Was it, so again, forget Minneapolis, forget Megyn Kelly, forget all the Venezuela, the Stranger Things, just based on those two stories, what happened in New York and what is possibly about to happen in Iran, was it a good week? I'll leave you to ponder that. Especially because I think I might have one last thing to share. Oh yeah, I'm gonna let Mira go off a little bit on the New York City, the new regime in New York City. I kind of like her podcast. She's a little bit blathery, but then again, how do I not like blather?
You need to know the name Sia Weaver. I think it's Sia, maybe it's Kia, maybe it's Chia. I'm not spending too much time saving her name in my brain. But this woman is becoming very powerful very quickly, and she is an unbelievable danger to society. And no, I am not exaggerating. There's a reason that her videos are going unbelievably viral everywhere, because she is saying some crazy, crazy things. And why? Does it matter that this woman's saying crazy things? Well, only because she's been brought in by Mamdani to run one of the most important departments under the New York City mayoral thing that they have going on there, the housing department. And she is saying things so insane that it just reminds us that the Islamization and the communism movement, they come hand in hand, and there's a reason that they come hand in hand. But this woman is out there, despite having tried to clean up her ex so that nobody would find the evidence. She is out there claiming things like, we need to take the houses from the whites and distribute them elsewhere. The content is crazy. Now, Mamdani has proven himself to be an absolute joke in the last few days. I don't know if you've seen this video of him going viral.
What we are seeing, I had a New Yorker the other day come up to me and ask me if there was any way I could help him get World Cup tickets, because he was saying that the cost that he saw for a game was $600, right? This is increasingly out of reach. We have made what used to be a working class game into a luxury experience, and there are too many for whom.
Okay.
All right. I think you get the picture on that. So there we have it. There we have it. It's been a incredibly busy few weeks. I was on Twitter a lot these last few weeks, mostly trashing Megyn Kelly. I can't believe some of the things that she's been coming out with, but she's gone over to the Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens. How in the world can Megyn Kelly give any credence to the conspiratorial bullshit that Israel had something to do with the murder of Charlie Kirk? That is so outlandishly out there. And so once again, and it's just so hard to really know who to trust in the news or commentators. I mean, I watched Jimmy Dore for like 6 years. He turned out to be bullshit. And I watched Megyn Kelly for the last 4 years, and she's turning out to be bullshit. The second Ben Shapiro called her out on her bullshit, she went total high school mean girl and basically told her loyal supporters to literally go F ourselves. So to go fuck ourselves. You know what? Fuck that. Fuck that. That euphemism bullshit. Yeah, I got my mother's mouth. Ellen from BQE says, NYC has always been able to pull through whatever the universe throws at it. And you know what? She's right. So yeah, I hope New York City does pull through. It's so hard to know whether to root for him to succeed when him succeeding means property is not going to be owned by people who own it. I mean, the look of him succeeding, you know what? I'm going to answer that question. I hope he fails. You know, I was trying to be a little both sides just there and try to say, well, you know, as a New Yorker, I hope he's okay. I hope it all goes okay. I don't. I really don't. And I don't have to. I can, you know, hey, what are they going to do? And he's screaming. This guy is screaming about what Trump did in Venezuela, having said that if Bibi Netanyahu sets foot in New York City, he's going to arrest him. So just hypocrisy with a capital H. I can't take it. So that's it. That's it. I'm gonna call it a night. I'll be back next week, hopefully, using this really, really nice looking microphone. It's got, you know, Stephanie will be here in a few weeks. She'll help me hook it up. So I doubt that I'll still be on the computer mic next week, but hopefully in a few weeks I'll be talking through a It was really, I love my son. I obviously I love my son, but he and I argue bitterly about politics. it's, it's rare that we'll agree on anything for the last 9 years or so. And yet, knowing that I say things that he very much objects to on this podcast, he bought me a microphone. That, talk about blood being thicker than water. So thank you, Daniel. I'm sorry I'm not using it yet. I'm too much of a boomer to figure out how to hook it up with this. Don't get me started. Thank you, Kamashroy Kate, Ellen from BQE, J Marcus 82 for your comments. I really do enjoy interacting live. It's why I go live. So thank you for that. And thank you for your loyalty. The three of you are the OG Blatherverse citizens. I think the Saturn V, who's kind of shy, you don't hear from him much, but I think he's there also. And he's worth a follow on Twitter, by the way. The Saturn V. The guy deserves more than the 50 or 60 followers he has. Okay, blah, 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 blah. The Boomer has blathered. Thank you so much for watching. Kamashroy Kate, let me know what happens with Stanley Park. And I'll see you guys next week.